హాయ్ ఎవ్రీవన్, వెల్కమ్ బ్యాక్ టు మై ఛానల్. ఫస్ట్ ఆఫ్ ఆల్ అందరికీ థ్యాంక్ యూ. బాగా సపోర్ట్ చేస్తున్నారు, యూట్యూబ్లో లైక్ చేస్తున్నారు, కామెంట్ చేస్తున్నారు అండ్ నా వీడియోస్తో బాగా ఇంటరాక్ట్ చేస్తున్నారు. 13.8K సబ్స్క్రైబర్ మార్క్లో ఉన్నాను నేనైతే. ఇలానే సపోర్ట్ చేస్తూ ఉండండి ప్లీజ్. నేను ఇంకా మంచి మంచి వీడియోస్తో వస్తాను. సో ఈరోజు ఈ వీడియో స్పెషల్లీ స్టూడెంట్స్ కోసం. నా ఫ్రెండ్ ఒక అమ్మాయిని ఇంటర్వ్యూ చేశాను. సో ఈ వీడియో ఇంగ్లీష్లో ఉండబోతుంది. స్టూడెంట్గా వచ్చి ప్రొఫెషనల్ జాబ్ ఎక్కి ఆ లైఫ్, ఆ ట్రాన్సిషన్ అంతా ఎలా ఉంటుంది, ఏమేమి కష్టాలు ఉంటాయి, అవన్నీ తనతో మాట్లాడి క్లియర్గా మీకు ఎక్స్ప్లెయిన్ చేద్దామని ఈ వీడియో చేస్తున్నాను. ఏం మిస్ అవ్వకుండా చివరి దాకా చూడండి, చాలా వాల్యుబుల్ ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ ఉంది ఇందులో. ఇప్పుడైతే వీడియో ఎంజాయ్ చేసేయండి. వాట్స్ యువర్ నేమ్?
Muskan.
Where did you come from in India?
I came from Ludhiana, Punjab.
Ludhiana, Punjab. Oh, okay. So when did you come to Australia?
June 2019.
June 2019. So for masters, I assume?
Yes, I started my masters from Deakin University as a business analyst.
Deakin in Melbourne?
Yes.
Okay. How much was the college fees, university fees?
So per semester I paid like $16,000. But that's like I got a scholarship for 25% of the total tuition fee. So that is excluding that scholarship.
And what was the scholarship based on?
Because I was a merit student back in India.
Merit student?
Yes, so
Oh, okay.
based on my 10th results and 12th results and also bachelor's results, they offered me a scholarship.
Okay. That's it. So Muskan, why did you choose Australia as your career choice?
To be frank, I was planning to go to Canada.
Yeah.
And I was like, I started my like applications over there. I even paid for like application fee in Canada as well. The main reason of me coming to Australia was there was some IELTS requirement and I was not able to fulfill that requirement in Canada. And that's why, like, after giving 3 IELTS exams as well, and then someone told me try Australia. They are not that difficult with IELTS.
Yeah.
Really?
That at that time I thought, okay, if not Canada, go for Australia. There were no relatives and no one was here, but still I decided to come here.
So when there were no relatives, how did you find your accommodation? As soon as you landed, what was your first step from the airport?
So I came to Deakin University. The thing Deakin offers is like they offer you airport pickup.
Wow. Okay.
So the thing is, like, I arranged that pickup back in India. What I did was I connected myself to Facebook groups. On Facebook there are like Deakin student groups, and I started posting like, I am this and I am coming to this course. If there are people, please, we can reach out to each other. There I found like 6 more people.
Okay.
Like my uncle used to know one person. My uncle was in favor of both of us should go together, and
It will help you out.
it
each
will
other.
help. Yeah. Like all 8 of us booked a Airbnb in Doncaster, so that we just have a time for 10 days, and within that 10 days we can find something to stay.
Okay, so the Airbnb was your temporary accommodation, and then you had to get a place. So did you lease a house after that Airbnb thing?
No. Within that 10 days, I think destiny played a good role in my being in Australia accommodation search. So I met a friend, like one of like the girls whom I stayed with at Airbnb. His friend visited us, like a friend's visit, and he was like, okay, I am leaving from my current tenancy. If you want to stay there, I can show you the house.
Okay.
And that way I got my first house, and I went to the family. I liked the family, and I said, okay, I will stay there.
Oh, that's nice. So in that accommodation, how much did you pay for your rent?
I paid actually very less, so approximately $300 at that time.
300 per month?
300 per month, but my friends were paying almost double amount. The room was small, but it was okay with me to stay in a small room because I wanted to save because I just came as an international student and there were a lot of expenses to come as well.
Yeah, 300 per month was very cheap actually. This it's like nothing. You're living it for free there, you know.
Yes.
Was that including bills as well, or bills are excluding?
No, that was including bills.
Including bills.
Yes.
Okay. So Destiny really played a good role in
Yeah.
your in
Yeah.
your life in Australia. Did you had time between your landing in Australia and starting the university?
Now I was like just a day before my first orientation day was.
Okay.
So I remember like 8 friends with whom I came with was like we used to go to the university, catch bus and go to the university for the orientation day in the morning, and like in the evening we all used to sit together and like think about like what will we do after 10 days.
Yeah, yeah. Initial day struggles. They're always good to go back and say these stories, right?
Yeah.
And coming to the job, how did you find your first job and what was it?
My job experience was not that great.
No Destiny played here.
No destiny played here. I was for initial 4 months I didn't had any job. So I used to try a lot like resumes. I even like did a trainee shift with one of the restaurants, like a renowned franchisee in Australia, but they used to call me for training but they didn't pay me at all.
Yeah.
For like like I worked for 2 weeks but they didn't pay me at
2 weeks,
all.
no pay.
No pay. Even after working for 2 weeks, I was not even sure that I will have a job there or not.
So didn't you ask them for your pay after the 2 weeks of trial period?
To be frank, I tried, but I was like, that doesn't matter if I get a job at the end of the day.
Okay.
But I think I realized that they are not going to give me job. So then after that, like one of my friends recommended me that he was working at the warehouse and he told me just to walk in.
Yeah.
I remember the warehouse was in Moorabbin at that time and I walked in and they told me that okay, we will give you a call. And after that, like I waited for like 3-4 days, but I didn't hear back anything at that time. And then probably I went again to the same warehouse to check if what's happening, if I can start. And then at that time he was like, okay, come from next week.
It's the moment that you've been waiting for.
That's nice. So did they pay you well, that warehouse job?
The legal rate in Australia.
Legal rate. So
yeah.
it was $18 per hour, right? Back when we were students.
I think it was $22.
$22. So your hourly rate was $22 back then. Okay. Did you manage to pay your bills and expenses with that money?
Yes, I was.
Okay.
Because my rent was cheap. That was good amount for me to start my life in Australia.
How much did you earn per month back then? How many hours did you work so that we can calculate it?
Basic 20 hours.
20 hours a week?
Yeah, 20 hours a week. Weekly pay was like around $600. Yeah.
Oh, that's nice. So you said you worked 20 hours a week and your hourly rate was 22. It should be around $440 or $450. So how did you earn $600 per week?
Like for initial 4 months when my semester was on, I didn't get a job. And once I went on the semester break and I was full time in Australia, I got a job at that time. So I was pretty much working like 38 hours per week at that time.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
So after taxes, I think it was around $600.
So you worked there for your entire duration of your masters?
Bit of both. I worked there for about a year, and after that, COVID started.
Shit.
Not after that, actually, in between, like soon I started that job. I think around February, all shutdown period started in Australia. Within that particular period, I started working in a new warehouse. It was men grooming products. So I pretty much started working there. And I left my job with my current warehouse at that time.
When you say warehouse, people usually have this idea of hard-working, hard labor jobs, right? So being a girl in Australia working in a warehouse, what was your job like? What was your responsibilities? Was it hard, easy?
With my first job, it was very easy because I was working in a warehouse that was like picking and packing of stationery items. So I was just doing like notebooks, pens, copies and stuff like that.
Okay.
With my second one as well, it was easy because it was men grooming products. So according to me, warehouse jobs do require heavy lifting, but I think people are gentle with ladies over here. So if you ask for help, they do help.
Okay, so it's not like what we imagine from India when we come here, warehouse arena. It's very hard working job. Okay, so did you need to have any certifications or any police checks or anything?
No, if you want to have like certifications, you can go for forklift licenses, but I didn't had any.
Okay. Muskan, you said you were working at warehouse, right? What time was your shift? Was it a day shift or?
I have worked at 3 different warehouses. My first 2 warehouse was 9 to 5. Third warehouse was I was starting at 5 in the morning.
5 in the morning.
Yes, and I used to finish at 1 in the afternoon.
How did you commute to your work?
Like I bought a car. Public transport starts at 6-ish. At that time, to commute to work, I had no other option but to buy a car.
So you bought a car immediately as soon as you came to Australia, or
Now after 1 year.
after 1 year? So before that you used public transport.
Yes, I used to travel through public transport.
Okay. Any major challenges that you faced in public transport?
No, pretty comfortable. I think public transport in Australia is well connected. If you have a car, you can reach to a place within 20 minutes. But same distance if you need to travel by public transport, it's like 1.5 hours. But safety wise, I never felt any discomfort traveling.
Good to know. Which car was it? How much did it cost for you?
I remember I bought it through a dealer. Not dealer, I think he was a mechanic.
Yeah.
So he had a second-hand car called Kia Rio. It was, I think, 2007 model. I think it was in October I bought my car and it was like $2,800. It costed me $2,800.
$2,800.
Yeah,
Okay, back that was in 2019, right?
2020.
2020. Wow, that was very cheap. You can't even imagine getting a wreckage car now for $2,800. Okay.
Yes.
So, after finishing your masters, how did you manage to get a field job in Australia, IT job?
To be frank, I struggled a lot to enter into the industry. Soon after completing my masters from Deakin in Melbourne, I moved to Canberra for my
Canberra.
Yes, for my permanent residency.
You said you moved to Canberra. It's really shocking because to get a job you need a PR in Australia. That's what the criteria was. And Canberra is a citizen-friendly state. What was the reason?
At that time, I consulted my migration agent, and she told me that Canberra is good to get a permanent residency if you have done your IT in Australia. So, because Canberra works on a matrix system, so every other state in Australia works on like you accumulate your points and then you go into the pool of invitations and you get your invite. But Canberra is like if you stay there, if you work there, and if you study there, you get your points accumulated for that journey. And my agent pretty much told me that if you stay there for a year, you can get it. There are chances that you will get your invitation.
Okay, so you got your first job in Canberra.
First IT job, yes.
And how did you get it?
With a lot of struggle because the major challenges with Canberra is because it's as you mentioned, it's a citizen friendly state, and like the main criteria to enter into IT is you need to have your citizenship with the clearance. Yeah, I moved because of my permanent residency, so citizenship was not at all option for me at all. I had a dedication in my mind that I need to enter into IT somehow. For chances for me to get into IT is 1 in 100 jobs. So I used to like search over LinkedIn's and I used to reach out to recruiters and like prepare for my interviews at the same time. And I remember at that time I gave like 4 interviews. The job clicked for me and I started my IT career back in Canberra.
Okay, so you applied through LinkedIn and then you got a call from the interviewer. Is that how it worked?
A bit of yes and no at the same time, because I applied through LinkedIn and then I reached out to the person who was recruiting it for that particular job. I remember it was a startup. There were like 14 people working full time in that company. So the person who I reached out to was a owner itself. So
the company owner?
Yes.
Okay.
Because he was hiring for the position, because it's the same startup company. So there is no HR department or no many people doing the work for you. So the owner itself was recruiting. We like had a one-on-one conversation before the interview. After talking to me, told me that I don't want to give you your hopes high, but just wait for the call. I think my dedication made me to get the IT job in Canberra.
No, that's good on you. Everyone has dedication to get into the market, but the reality is totally different, right? So you don't get a job as soon as you apply. So
Trust
any
me,
tips for the new students?
I moved to Canberra in January, and my first IT job happened in August
From January to August,
to August.
what did you do in between then?
I was working for a construction company in meantime to get my expenses sort out because Canberra is very expensive state.
Is it?
Very expensive. My last rent in Melbourne was like $550 for a master bedroom. And I moved to Canberra and my rent was like $1,000 for a sharing bedroom.
Everything doubled up as soon as you moved?
Everything doubled up, but I think it was worth staying there as well for me. Yeah.
Did you try to do any certifications in your field, course of study, apart from your masters?
No, I didn't do any certifications.
Okay.
Just I tried to work on my skills like communication skills and presentation skills. But the startup which I worked at that time really helped me to grow in my career as well. A lot of opportunities because the startup I was working with government sector. So opportunities to work with the government officials helped me a lot in my career.
Okay. Was the management inside the company was supportive? Or
Very
how was
supportive. The IT expectations in India is very different to what IT expectations in Australia are. I think so far I have like gained a lot on my skills like communication and presentation, and people are very cordial over here. You can approach them, you can ask for help.
Yeah.
But in India, I think that's something we can't do that. So that's something I have experienced so far.
That's nice. And was that presentation and communication skills part of your master's program, or have you tried to get around those skills from somewhere else?
I think so far what I have found in Australia is like you can approach people, and that just helps you to communicate or say what you want to say, and that just helps you a lot. Whereas in India, you sometimes can't say things because you don't know how it will be taken. What I have found in Australia education is like I was doing a lot of projects in my university that helps me to collaborate with my peers, and that helped me to improve my communication skills. And even my university provided me with a lot of opportunities to like do presentations and talk in public and do a lot of cultural activities, and that just helped me a lot as well.
Okay, so in total, your fees was worth it to get your skills for the market, yeah?
Yes.
You can say that, right?
Yes, I think.
Yes and no, yeah?
Yeah.
Sometimes it can depend on the projects you do, the way you utilize those chances
Yep.
within the university, right? So, did your, one more question around your university. Did your university like help you with the placements, like similar to what we have in India? Is that the culture here in Australia or no?
Your university will make you a job ready, but
By what do you mean by job ready?
job ready as in like they will, like for example my university helped me with the real time project. Like I worked with a real time company in Australia that just helped me to evaluate how things work in Australia, how IT companies operate in Australia.
Is that an internship or is that part of your curriculum?
I did internship as well, but I did a like capstone project as well with the real time client. University didn't help me with the placements, hasn't promised it as well. So I didn't had like my jobs high, like okay, I will complete my course. After 2 years, I would have job. It was head straight in my mind that I need to get my job by myself.
So that's people need to make sure that Australian culture is different to what India's culture is.
Yeah.
Australian universities, they don't offer placements. That's not a thing here. You have to search for your own. You have to improve your skills and certifications. So yeah, that's a good point. So did you get your PR finally?
Not yet.
Not yet. I shouldn't have said finally.
Yeah, not yet. So I'm back to Melbourne now. So I tried in Canberra, didn't work for me because Canberra is prioritizing partners. So
Did you call back your consultant saying you did not inform me about this?
No, I didn't.
You
Well,
should have.
they were getting money out of me, so their motive has been achieved. So
Makes sense.
no grudges. But yes, now I'm back in Melbourne. So I'm hoping soon, maybe I get it.
Okay. How many points did you need to get your PR, and how many points did you have?
I am sitting on 95 right now.
So you satisfied the entire requirement.
I know, but I don't know whether Victoria prioritizes on some different criteria. So it's like I have entered the lucky draw. Like now it's like lottery. If I get it or not get it, that's purely destiny.
Okay. So one more interesting question that is provoking my mind. You were in Canberra, you managed to get a job. You moved to Melbourne. You still don't have a PR. Without a PR, how did you land a job in Melbourne? Because many of the students are struggling to get a job without a PR. That's one of the questions that is raised frequently by everyone. How did you get a job?
I think getting job in IT, your first job is challenging. I applied for jobs. They do ask whether you have your permanent residency or not. I think the main reason why I got a IT job was because I still have a visa for 3 years.
3 more years, okay.
So that can be the reason I think that made me land into a job. Because I had a prior experience and
So based on what you're saying, if you have prior experience in Australia, that will definitely help you.
yes,
Without a
and
PR.
if you have a visa for more than a year, I
Okay.
think that can be a changing point as well for you.
Okay. So did the current company you're working at offer you a sponsorship or anything like that? Did you ask them?
No, I don't want to go with a sponsorship. I have my backup plan, so um, sponsorship is never on a plate for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks for explaining about your journey. So what does, in general, what does your community play in getting successful in your professional life or in your Australian life here?
I would say community plays a good role. So if you reach out to your people and if you talk to them like you are facing challenges with like getting a job, they can provide you with references. There are a lot of Facebook groups that you can join and you can post your questions. A lot of people can help you answering will post their answers for that particular questions as well.
That's good to hear. Any specific groups in Melbourne to join?
There are a lot of, I think there are specific community groups as well. Like, for example, Indian in Melbourne's, but like there are like state-wise groups as well, like Punjabis in Melbourne or like probably South Indians in Melbourne. The one group I am part of, like women in IT, women in Australia groups, like which are particularly targeted to the women. If you are suffering problems or if you want to change your career, there are a lot of women who can help you guide your careers as well. So I think there are a lot of Facebook groups and there are a lot of WhatsApp groups that you can be a part of to get to seek help.
Okay, that was really a valuable point. Thanks for that. సో ఇది ఈరోజు వీడియో. ఒక చిన్న రిక్వెస్ట్ నా దగ్గర నుంచి, చాలామంది చూస్తున్నారు కానీ సబ్స్క్రైబ్ చేసుకోవట్లేదు. సబ్స్క్రైబ్ చేసి లైక్ చేసి షేర్ చేయండి. నిజంగా అవసరం ఉన్న వాళ్ళకి ఈ వీడియో వెళ్తే కనుక చాలా ఉపయోగపడుతుంది. ఈ వీడియోనే కాదు, నేను ఆస్ట్రేలియా లైఫ్ స్టైల్ బ్లాగ్స్ చేస్తాను కాబట్టి అన్నీ కూడా ఉపయోగపడే వాళ్ళు ఉంటారు ఏదో ఒక పాయింట్లో. సో సబ్స్క్రైబ్ చేసుకొని సపోర్ట్ చేయండి. ఇట్లాంటి మంచి వీడియోస్తో వచ్చేస్తూ ఉంటాను. మళ్ళీ నా నెక్స్ట్ వీడియోలో కలుస్తాను. బాయ్ బాయ్.